In every generation, two Prose are born. Chosen to watch every episode of Buffy and tell you what they think about them. This is the Prose Visit Sunnydale. Season 2.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale. I am Eddie Cruz.
And I'm Geoff.
And this is Season 2, Episode 19?
20.
Episode 20, Go Fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that awesome card game.
Is that awesome?
I used to enjoy it when I was a kid.
I don't think I remember how to play it. Can you gamble?
Can I gamble at Go Fish?
Yeah.
I guess you could, but it'd be like a pot at the end. It's one of those games that's kind of like old maid. It goes on for a while.
I guess you can gamble with anything if you have that addiction.
Yeah, I mean, you can technically gamble with anything, yes.
Okay.
So we're doing Go Fish. Geoff, what do you think about the episode?
I can't say I particularly liked it, but I also didn't dislike it.
No, Monster of the Week, better than Killed by Death. That's already a start. I mean, that's a marker, right? So
yeah.
You say better than the worst episode.
I feel like we still have that Killed by Death hangover.
Yeah.
So anything's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. That hangover is going to last a while for me.
There's some things I enjoyed about this episode. The theme I want to talk about, the end, which I think, I'm not sure what they're trying to say, but there's a message.
About human rape? Fish on human rape? The
no.
raping of humans by fish?
No.
Is that what you're talking about?
No.
No, okay.
But that's more like a motif.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Than an overall theme.
I think one of the fish was named Bill Cosby.
You know what? Didn't even see that one coming. I should have.
So, Geoff, what was this episode about?
Okay, so this episode starts at the beach.
At the beach, boy!
Yeah,
and Kendra's there?
No.
No, okay.
She could be in the background. We don't know.
She was just there for that line.
It's a pretty big party. All the Scoobies are there, and we realize it's a party essentially celebrating the success of the swim team, which up until now, I don't think we've mentioned a swim team, or I don't know how many sports we've mentioned in Sunnydale.
I mean, I guess the football team with the brother.
Some assembly required.
Some assembly required, yeah. With that episode, there's football.
I just assume there's football in any small town, but apparently Sunnydale isn't a small town.
They have football, they got track, they got swim team.
Yeah, they got a swim team. So
yeah.
All the Scoobies are talking about that. Meanwhile, Buffy is just sitting alone, staring off at the waves, and some random swim team asshole comes up and hits on her. Yeah, he starts talking about the ocean, which is
he just comes up and just goes, beautiful. Just one word, and then pause, long pause, more than one beat, like 7 beats, goes, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to work with this game. But then she asks him this question, basically like, what are you going to do after you win the state championship or whatever? And he says, spend time with you, Buffy.
Yeah, he's like, I want to get to know Buffy Summers.
Which is fucked up, this whole conversation, once you figure out what happens a little later in the episode.
Yeah, when he tries to date rape her?
But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. To Biff Tannen her, if you will.
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah. Watch Back to the Future. And then watch this. Yeah, did you find him creepy initially?
No, I found him really, really stupid and cheesy.
Okay.
Like, at the beginning, I didn't really see him as a predator. I saw him as kind of a guy that's just way too into himself and into the things that he does. You know, like when somebody becomes poetic about something that's not so poetic. like not so gravitas. Like, I don't know, when the guy from Incubus wrote that poetry book. Remember that? Or like when Jim Morrison writes poetry, you're like, oh, that's cute. You know, you're a fucking super cute dude that has had everything handed to him in his life. What do you think is beautiful?
Well, that's probably better off than some dude on a swim team, high school swim team, talking about the ocean.
You think William Carlos Williams was on the swim team?
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
He's like, so much depends on my Speedos.
On my red Speedos.
Laying out in the sun next to a wagon that nobody uses.
I hope he sounds like that. I hope he sounded like that.
Yeah. He's got a Brooklyn accent, actually.
This guy is hitting on her. He kind of felt like along the same lines as like the reptile boy, those fraternity guys who are hitting on Buffy. They kind of sounded similar to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, meanwhile, that's going on. Jonathan is being picked on.
He is having his head dunked in a ice bin. And that sounds pretty horrible, actually.
Yeah, and the tattooed guy who's doing it is saying, oh, it's because you want to be on the swim team, and basically torturing him. I don't know why Jonathan would show up at a party knowing these guys would be there if that's what they do to him, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
Jonathan has his own little personal 13 Reasons Why right there.
Yeah. That would be a good episode we talked about writing.
We do 13 Reasons Why, but with Jonathan as the girl.
Fuck yeah.
That sounds great.
I'm down. So this douchey tattooed swim team guy is lured out to the beach. Mm-hmm. He just starts walking out and stares off. Next scene we see is a bunch of skin.
Yeah, just a pile of skin with
steamy
clothes.
Skin.
Steamy.
Which looked pretty cool.
Yeah, like if somebody pooped out skin. And then in the cold.
Then some sort of monster is running away into a sewer system.
I think it's pretty obvious right off the bat that it's a monster from the Black Lagoon?
Blue.
No, I said blue last time and that was wrong.
Yeah, but I also thought about it and I was like, I think it's black, but I don't know, so I'm just going to shut up.
Yeah. Xander pulls that out and says like, no, the creature from the Blue Lagoon is Brooke Shields in this episode.
Apparently we know less than Xander. So next scene we see at school and we see Professor Willow.
Professor Willow, the best teacher in the school.
And I mean, one of few we see anymore.
And everything's riding on her because this guy can't pass computer class.
Well, he could care less. It's Gage. I thought Gage or Cage. I think it's Gage.
I think it's Gage.
Cage, like KG from that band, Tenacious D.
I think it's Gage.
Okay. Anyway, Prison Break guy.
Prison Break. Let's call him Prison Break.
Yeah, let's do that. He could give a shit about class.
No, he's on the computer fucking planning his prison break.
Rightfully so. His teacher is another student. Why should he
of course.
Give a shit?
He should really give absolutely no shits, as Willow shouldn't, because she's not getting paid.
No. So he leaves, and Snyder walks in, and they finally have the discussion I think we've talked about several times about why it's okay for Willow to be teaching a class.
Well, yeah, it's because Betsy Ross privatized schools, and now we have to just hire whomever we can for cheap.
It's a bunch of bullshit either way.
Yes.
He subtly, not so subtly, tells her he needs to pass because our swim team is about to win the championships.
They're 2 matches away from winning the state championship.
Yeah, so while I thought Willow teaching is bullshit and I wanted to know what happened with Snyder, this is like somewhat to me like, okay, I can understand that he's all in this school and he wants this team to win as opposed to just whatever.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just so ridiculous when you really think about it. But at the same time, the school needs a win. They got a Hellmouth in the basement.
Yeah.
You know? They got to get a trophy. At least another one that's eyes don't move.
A trophy's a trophy. So outside of the school, we have that scene from Back to the Future with Ken, one of the swimmers, and Buffy. And instantly he gets super creepy.
Yeah, so he's in the
cool.
car, and he's talking about the vastness of the ocean. And then she's like, okay, and he's like, hey, you want to touch my pee-pee? I don't think he says that, but...
No, I think what he said is almost just as bad. It's, are you wearing a bra?
Oh, yeah. You're wearing a bra?
Which was kind of shocking for me. I didn't remember that at all.
No, not at all. And then she goes, okay, I'm leaving, and he locks the doors.
Yeah.
Like a creepy Doc Brown, right? He's the one that rapes in that movie. Just kidding.
Biff Tannen.
I'm watching too much Rick and Morty.
So George McFly comes, and no, he doesn't. Buffy essentially grabs the back of his head, hits it against the steering wheel, maybe breaks his nose, maybe doesn't. But just then we see Snyder, who's randomly walking the parking lot, see that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he blames Buffy.
Yeah.
And everyone's giving her shit. Like, what the fuck? This is like you're a troublemaker. This is a star athlete. How the fuck could you do that?
Yeah. And also, they blame her for what she's wearing.
Yeah. Which fucked up.
It's super fucked up. They're like, well, why are you wearing this provocative outfit? And she's literally wearing just like a tank top and some jeans.
Which is ironic because we see so many Speedos in this episode.
Seriously, I saw a lot of junk, man.
So in the library, there's a quick scene where basically everybody's discussing what happens. Giles finds the skin remains. Right after that, there's a scene. I guess it's still the same scene. Xander is at school late. They're all there late with Cam, one of the swimmers. So he goes off to get food. Right before that, Cam and Xander have a little interaction where you can tell Xander's not a big fan of school sports or the swim team guys in general. I think
it's mostly he's not a fan of them getting preferential treatment. So Cam goes like, oh, I'm going to the cafeteria to get some food. And he's like, haha, cafeteria is closed. And he's like, not for me, it isn't. And that pisses Xander off because he's like, I'm always getting the short end of the stick.
Mostly because he's jealous.
Yeah,
right?
He's super jelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he has Cordelia. Like,
fucking moron, dude.
What line is Xander trying to reach? Like, where's the win?
He got the most popular, the potentially hottest girl in the school.
He hangs out with the two hottest girls in the school, and he's dating one of them.
Yeah, so what the fuck, Xander?
Yeah, seriously.
These conversations are making me like Xander a whole lot less.
Well, I think that it's funny because I don't care as much anymore this season. In the first season, I was hating him more, and you were like okay with him, and now that I'm okay with him, you're hating him more.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But I'm also like super team Cordelia.
Yeah.
So like,
I think that I
was like, what the fuck, dude?
Like,
can you not see
Xander,
what's in front of you?
You have the girl of your dreams in front of you. She loves you even if you're a fish.
Yeah. So Cam goes to get food at the cafeteria, screams. Xander hears that, runs in, and then sees more steaming skin.
Steamy poop skin.
Yeah, and a huge fish monster.
Huge. A huge creature from the Black Lagoon.
So all the Scoobies then devise a plan. After that, Buffy's going to follow the prison break dude, and Willow's going to go question Jonathan. And it turns out by questioning Jonathan, instead of doing something to, I don't know, what she was assuming, maybe luring this monster or doing whatever, he basically peed in the pool to get revenge on all these guys.
So, she confronts him and she's like, what did you do? Did you conjure up a demon to destroy these guys? He's like, no, I peed in the pool. And she just goes, ew.
After that, we see Xander overhearing the coach and Snyder talk about a replacement for the swim team, which is, I assume, later on, that's why he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to join it. Spoiler for like 5 minutes later.
Yeah. Spoiler for the best scene of the episode.
Yeah. So Buffy's at the Bronze, and she confronts Prison Break dude. He walks out because he's all upset and finds Angel.
He's really busy getting a bunch of tattoos of a prison tattooed on his back.
Immediately. I've only seen one episode of that, and he got all those tattoos in like the first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So he walks out to potentially think about which tattoos he's going to get.
Yeah.
Maybe the fish one being the first.
The fish, yeah, that's the C block of the prison.
So we see Angel, and that is to remind us that Angel exists.
Is the big bad of the series.
Just in case you forgot. Yeah.
In case you forgot what's going on in the actual season, Angel's here again.
Angel bites him and then comically tosses him at Buffy.
Yeah. Buffy shows up and he's like, oh, hey, Buffy, and throws him at her. And as he's doing it, he's spitting in disgust.
Yeah, there's something wrong with his blood.
Yeah.
So right after that, we see that payoff, your favorite scene, right?
Dude, Xander walks in like a catwalker, dude. Is that a catwalker? If you do a catwalk, are you a catwalker or are you just a model?
I've never heard that before.
You've never heard the catwalk?
I've heard the catwalk, a catwalker.
I know. I'm just saying. Can I call them that? Because they do the catwalk.
Sure.
On the catwalk. Oh, the catwalk. Yeah, I shake my little tush on the catwalk.
Yeah, the Scoobies are talking about roids. So they're continuously talking about roids. They think that it has something to do with why they're turning, not necessarily turning into monsters, but is it? Or attracting the monsters at this point? That's what it was.
They're assuming that they're taking something that attracts the monsters to their bodies.
Yeah. And right then, at that swim meet, that's when Cordy gets all hot and bothered, and she sees Xander walk out in a pair of Speedos, and for some reason doesn't recognize her own boyfriend.
She doesn't recognize her own boyfriend because she's looking at his body, not his face.
And she's never done that before.
And she's never done that before, no.
Okay.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
I got it. So do you want to tell me or tell us about how you felt?
I mean,
Xander
it was
in a Speedo.
It was pretty life altering. You start at his hairy genitals and slowly move.
Well, maybe I looked down for that, but I don't remember seeing hairy genitals.
I mean, there's a Speedo, but you can see the hair coming out of the sides. You know, like a hairy Persian man.
Like the sides of the legs?
Yeah, like
dude,
all the way
I did
down.
not
And then
look that close.
And then, there's a happy trail that goes right up to perfect pectoral muscles, just glistening. Not like he overworks. He doesn't go to the gym a lot, but like skinny pecs. You know what I'm saying? Just natural pecs.
This is feeling pretty graphic. I'm almost regretting asking you. Almost.
Yeah. Anyway, so he kind of cowers though at them viewing him as he realizes that his girlfriend and two best friends are watching him. He grabs one of those paddles you learn how to swim with when you're a kid and puts it over his junk because he has junk the size of Ross Hanneman's.
Do you want to explain that at all, or you just want to?
I'm just gonna let that ride. Just gonna let it ride.
So Xander, right after that, we see him do that awesome belly flop.
Yeah, it wasn't really a belly flop so much as just a sloppy dive, like one of those dives where they put their hands together, they go, but they end up doing belly flop.
I mean that
and right
painful,
after,
right?
And to add insult to injury, it's right after Cordelia and Willow established that Jonathan has peed in the pool.
Yeah,
they're like, he peed in the pool, and right after that he flops right in. Great payoff.
They're all talking about what a stud he is, and you see him cowering and then doing
some Donald Trump waterworks. Yeah.
Ew.
What? Donald Trump likes to be peed on.
I can still say ew.
Oh yeah.
I thought we were done with the Donald Trump for a while. We're bringing him back.
Just, to talk about him getting peed on.
Okay. So in the locker room, the team's all sitting around in the sauna. They get out. Gage screams. Gage, by the way, Prison Break dude. He screams, and then Buffy runs in and sees him shedding his skin, turns into a fish monster. Well, first she sees
the other monster, because there is another monster there that he's screaming at. At the same time, he's also turning into a monster. So she's confronted with both things. Number one, oh my God, there's a monster there. And number two, oh my God, he's ripping off his skin.
But she thinks it's because this monster is attacking him, and he's really screaming because he's ripping off his own skin. And you get that
great scene that you always see on the intro of his hand turning into the monster's hand, or the monster's hand ripping out of his flesh and him screaming at it. It's a great, great scene.
Well, I like that. They didn't use CG.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cheesy. The show's kind of cheesy.
I mean,
to be honest,
whenever you use practical effects, they're obviously not going to look good. But the whole thing is, can you suspend your disbelief enough to like that practical effect? And I could, and it was good.
So shortly after that, the monsters attack Buffy, and then they dive into the sewer. And Xander is still grilling the team about steroids. They're still talking about steroids. Find out that it's in the sauna. They're breathing it in.
Aromatherapy, bro. Shortly
after that, we see the nurse talking to the coach. And originally, people are thinking that it's the nurse giving steroids to the kids, which I think is weird, why they just wouldn't assume the coach.
But it turns out that it's neither. It's Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, and now all the fish have one testicle.
Yeah, and work for the post office.
No, so the coach is in on it, The nurse is actually, I guess she's in on it too, but she's trying to do better or repent.
Well,
I don't know
about repent, but she definitely has some second thoughts about what she's doing, and she doesn't want to continue doing it. She wants to stop so the kids don't turn into monsters, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't really care. I want to win. I want that trophy.
Yeah, so they have a disagreement, and he shoves her into the sewer, which is right below the school.
It is the biggest sewer. When I lived in Korea, I went to the DMZ and checked out the tunnels that the North Koreans used to try to attack the South or whatever. There's these huge tunnels, right? And these sewers are bigger than those tunnels. Like, I don't understand. Have you ever heard of sewers this big?
If it's not like Ninja Turtle stuff.
Yeah, it's complete bullshit.
Anyway, I find it really funny that we had that episode with the bad eggs where there's something underneath and like the mother bad egg creature was there, and then all of a sudden there's this elaborate sewer system.
Yeah,
but
this school is built on a enigma of things,
and that seemed like a different part of the basement than this one. But they do tie that in by, I guess, season 7, where the basement is just incredibly massive in the new school.
It's gigantic, and I mean the foundation of the school is technically a dead monster. So yeah, it's held up by a dead monster and a huge sewer system.
Sure, why not? Sewers. The coach feeds the nurse to the swimmers, which are all now fish monsters.
He kicks her into the manhole that's in her office, because yeah, every nurse's office has a manhole. Which, yeah, we'll come up with the coach later for his manholes.
Oh, yeah. Pretty soon, actually. So the Scoobies devise their plan. Buffy goes to confront the coach, and he pulls a gun on her.
Pulls a gun out. Because, fucking had one of those lying around.
Which I thought was funny and random. But how else would he be able to stop the Slayer from doing anything else, right?
Yeah, right? I mean, that's the only kind of advantage he could have is pulling out a gun.
He had like a little Make America Great hat.
It has a Make America Great Again hat and a gun. There you go.
He says something, again, another really disturbing Bill Cosby-esque comment that the fish monsters have already been fed, but boys have other needs.
Yeah. So basically he's like, all right, well, they ate the nurse, so they're not hungry anymore, but they want to gang rape you.
Yeah.
That's pretty horrible. And Buffy falls in and, like, makes a joke about how she doesn't want to be known as a girl that made it with all the swim team.
Yeah, that's all her reputation needs.
It feels like the writer of this episode wasn't exactly top-notch.
So who wrote this episode?
David Fury and Ellen Hampton.
Okay.
So David Fury, I know, did a bunch of Angel stuff.
Yeah, and the other person,
I have no idea who that is. But it definitely feels like they don't have the experience that maybe other writers do writing for Buffy. I don't know. That's really mean to say, and I'm not the person to say it, but they feel like they're writing for a different show.
It feels like it's missing something like this. I don't know if it's like this softness, but I want to talk about that a little later at the end.
But it definitely feels a little bit closer like to the way that Killed by Death didn't really fit into the season. Another monster of the week that doesn't really fit. Yeah,
I could get that. So part of the plan, they send Cordy and Xander to round up the rest of the swim team.
Yeah.
Xander walks off screen, and then we see a fish monster dive into the pool. And one of the best scenes of the episode,
I think that was like the best.
Yeah, where Cordy is talking to this fish monster, thinking it's Xander, telling him, like, no matter what you need, I'll be there for you, even if you want to see other fish, which is hilarious. Which, by the way, how can we not be on Team Cordelia at this point?
Yeah, it's like you really want him to start liking her, maybe, or you realize that she likes him a lot more than he likes her at this point.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah, to the point where she might even love him, but we don't get to see that kind of interaction with her.
Yep. So we realize it's not Xander. The rest of the Scoobies round up the other swimmers, lock them up, and we see Buffy fighting the rest of the fish dudes. At this point, Xander's not sure what happens to Buffy, goes to find her. Knocks out the coach.
Well, he walks into the office, sees a gun, they scuffle over the gun, he hits him with the gun, and then opens the sewer main.
Yeah, essentially saving Buffy.
Yeah.
He reaches in, picks her up out of there, which is a huge moment.
Up. You can find out that she's got mad ups.
Yeah.
She can jump like a motherfucker.
Well, we could even... Remember earlier on in the first season when she was jumping over fences to ditch school?
Just everything. She has like a 5 to 10 foot vertical leap.
It's the return of the jump.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess he does save her.
He saves her, yeah. Pulls her out.
Yeah, so he saves her, and the coach hits Xander with a crescent wrench.
Pistol whips him.
Which I thought was funny.
No.
No.
Crescent wrench?
A crescent wrench.
Right on.
Because I was like, where the fuck did this wrench come from?
Where'd the gun go?
I don't know. Picks up... I don't know if it went down the sewer, but crescent wrench hits him over the head with a crescent wrench.
I mean, there is a sewer there, so there's got to be a crescent wrench.
That's, I'm pretty sure in the writer's room they're like, well, fuck it, guys.
I mean, that could make sense.
Better than hitting him with a pool toy,
like one of those like inflatable crayons,
or like the noodles. Yeah,
there you go. Hitting him with a bunch of noodles. He like connected a bunch of noodles together and hits him with that.
Let's see how well Slayer strength will work if you have like a crappy little noodle to fight with.
Yeah. He also, saves her from being raped by a bunch of fish.
Yeah.
So when they get out of there, they start fighting with the coach because the coach comes back to life and hits Xander, right? And then
he's still alive. He just wakes up.
He wakes up, hits Xander, misses Buffy, falls in the hole. She grabs his leg, and this is where we have that moment of like, she's a Slayer. She has enough strength to hold him up. Definitely enough to pull him back up. But instead, her strength fails her and she drops him. Conveniently to be raped to death by the entire swim team.
Yeah, and should we explain that a little bit? They set that up in the episode.
They set it up to be like, at the end, that guy is raped to death.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be funny here. That's part of the episode.
We are trying to be funny, but it is part of the episode.
We're failing. But also... That's part of the episode. That's not a joke.
She makes that comment. So you don't see this.
They really love their coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally, because they're all fucking him. Which, how do fish fuck?
I don't know.
How does that thing fuck?
So can we talk about the overall, I want
to talk more about how fish fuck. I'm just joking.
I don't want to make light of this like sexual aggression. We'll just say Bill Cosby-ness going on in this episode.
Yeah.
But it happens once right at the beginning with that dude. It's
definitely like a statement on organized sports and the treatment of athletes to have, I guess, like full reign to do whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
If he had raped her in that car, if Buffy wasn't the Slayer and she was just a girl, would Snyder have seen him raping her? And just walked away.
And that's so fucked up.
So fucked up. Yeah.
But by the end of the episode, I feel like they have a point there, but they don't really do anything. Did the coach
really deserve to get fucked to death?
That's what happens at the end. He gets fucked to death by
you assume
fish monsters.
What if he just gets fucked and then stays in the sewer and becomes their little fuck toy?
That's a good weird
Their
point.
pool toy, if you will.
Yeah, that's super weird.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
In the episode, they don't really tie that up well enough for me.
Yeah, I agree.
They also have this theme of steroids, talking about steroids and negative effects of steroids, and it almost turns into like PSA at one point. I wrote down several times, like another scene in the library where the Scoobies are talking about steroids. There are several scenes I just didn't mark or I didn't talk about right now because it's like, cut to library, steroid scene, cut to library, steroid scene.
Don't do drugs of them.
Yeah. And that seemed to hit home harder than the fact that these school jocks were basically trying to have their way with women. Buffy, their coach. Something that left me kind of uneasy is the fact that they swim into the ocean but still have complete access to the school. So at any point they could go back there and grab
any student and fuck him to death.
Yeah.
So throughout the next 4 seasons that we're going to watch, 5 seasons that we're going to watch, we can just assume that's happening. Or at least up to season 5 before the school gets
How about
back.
now, anytime there's like a plot hole with a character that disappears?
There we go.
They got fucked to
The guy
death
that was
by
into
fish
Emily
monsters.
Dickinson in the first season.
Yeah.
That guy got fucked to death by a fish monster.
Yeah, so that's the whole steroid thing is not weird to me, but definitely a very PSA.
Yeah.
The whole sexual aggression basically going unchecked. Like Snyder, somebody should have done something.
Somebody needs to do something.
It's just weird that that's how it ends, and it's just okay.
Yeah. In a certain way. I mean, isn't that how that happens?
Yeah, but usually in shows like this, things get wrapped up neatly.
Yeah, it wasn't wrapped up neatly. David Fury writes Angel, likes them dark endings. You know, he likes to write a tragedy. Maybe that
dark,
was...
I don't know.
I mean, the ending, he doesn't save anybody. The first episode, he doesn't save the girl. By the end of the series...
I mean, this one particularly dark.
I mean, yeah, the entire swim team dies. I want to ask you what you think happens.
None of them die.
None of them? Well, they all turn into fish.
3 of them.
3 of them?
The rest were saved.
Oh, I missed that. How were they saved?
So they were all locked in. And for some reason, it never cut back to that. But I guess they were all saved.
I assumed they just transformed and fucked each other to death.
I think there would have been a scene with Giles, like having
Watching
to deal
them, watching like 7 dudes fuck each other to death. Jesus Christ!
Oh my God, dude. Can you find a way to make this not sound horrible?
No, you cannot find a way to make this episode not be horrible. Like, as in the actions that everyone takes in this episode is just full of horror.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
You know, and I feel like if this wasn't so close to Killed by Death, we would have probably shit on this episode a lot more.
Yeah. I didn't like the ending when they're all swimming away in the ocean. That's so close to the school now. We have to assume that the school is essentially Oceanside.
Let me play fish dude's advocate here. So why would they go back to school? Because they're fish people. They want to go to the ocean because that's where they belong. And they don't want to go to school and swim in a pool because that's like being in, like, I don't know, like a little fish tank.
Okay.
I'm definitely reaching, but I think that's the intention.
But they reached, like, the ending goes from inside the school to the ocean very quickly. So that ocean is, I gotta say, a 5-minute drive.
It's as close as everything else. It's
Sunnydale High. It's right next to the Bronze. Like, the Bronze is right next to the dock. That's next to the ocean.
Next to the hospital, which is next door to the Krispy Kreme.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a very short walk. It should be called Ocean View High School.
Sure.
Yeah.
So overall, good episode.
It was a meh episode. It was a monster of the week that I didn't hate. It's definitely above Killed by Death or Bad Eggs or Me Robot You Jane. But it's definitely not the top and not at the very bottom.
Yeah, I agree.
I would give this episode a C if I was a teacher.
Ah, damn. I don't know. You know I hate those fucking...
You don't like rating things.
No.
You don't like putting a stamp of any kind of approval on things.
Because it changes based on viewing.
You don't know.
Although this is never going to be my favorite.
No, but it could do some extra credit and pass the course.
Like, if I watched this, and I had seen this episode several times, it was one of those ones that would come up. I'm like, it's okay. It's like, I don't really like it that much. But watching some of the other ones earlier on and watching this in order, I can kind of give it a little more credit.
Yeah. So how many people died?
People?
How many fish died?
None. 2 people died.
2 people died.
It seems like a lot more because all the fish
Because the fish... I mean, could you technically argue that when the fish rips out of the person, he's no longer a person? I mean, Prison Break guy seemed pretty horrified that he was turning into a fish. It didn't seem like he was completely like a fish dude that was ripping out of skin. Like, it didn't seem like he transformed into the fish. It seemed more like an Alien Covenant Prometheus kind of thing where an entity was growing inside of him and then just ripped through his skin.
You could believe that, but I would argue that all the fish people recognized that and didn't want to attack anybody. I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe they didn't want to attack each other because they're all fish dudes, or like they're turning into the fish people.
That is true, and you can absolutely say that, but I don't really see any evidence in the episode that...
That's true.
I just thought, we
won't count that as a death. It's transformation.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
They turned into butterflies.
The two deaths, and this is up for debate. Mm-hmm. The nurse definitely died.
Yeah, she died.
The coach may have died.
Or maybe a fuck toy for a bunch of fish people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say he's dead.
The original...
I would say he died by like the third group raping.
What's happening next?
The next episode is Becoming.
Becoming.
Part 1 of 2.
Damn, we're almost done, huh?
I know,
21.
man. We're almost done with the season 2, and then we only have 5 more seasons, which is more than half as much as we've done. So we got a long way to go, but we're wrapping up season 2, man, making progress.
Yeah.
And after that, we only have more than half of what we've done left.
Okay, it sounds depressing.
Yeah.
What happens in Becoming?
Becoming is, I mean, that's the pinnacle, right? It's the best part of this season. It's what we've all been waiting for and didn't know. Like, Becoming is the end of Angel, man.
Yeah, it's Angel realizing his full evil potential.
Yeah, he finds a statue that can consume the whole world and decides that he wants to take that step of ultimate evil and destroy the entire planet.
Which, can I tell you about that? I guess briefly, and then we'll discuss this next week. Kind of bullshit. Because isn't the whole point of him being evil is he likes to torture instead of just end it all?
Yeah, it's one of those things that he doesn't really like to come. He likes to fuck. Right? So...
this guy fucks.
Angel fucks, bro. So
he did this season.
Oh god. So Angel, like, it seems out of character for him, but at the same time, it may just be the only way he can really win against Buffy, because he can't take her on in a fight, right? So the only way he can do is like, I'll kill her by killing the whole world. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Willow finds that disc, and you get that like last hope that maybe she can translate it in time to save Angel's soul.
Does she do that in this episode? It's the one after
I think that in the first episode is where she finds it, and then the second episode is where she maybe do the spell.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember these 2 episodes being amazing, and watching them was definitely edge of your seat kind of watching.
They're good. And shout out to Joey from Podmax podcast for sending me a screen grab of one of these episodes where Angel has a mustache, which we will talk about vampires having mustaches within the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's not cool. You can't do that, right? When does Angela Lewis have a mustache?
They go back in time, because one of these episodes, it's the last one.
Okay.
So Becoming 2, they go back in time.
Is this the one? This is the one with Whistler.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm telling you, that Whistler motherfucker is in one of these episodes, man.
I thought he was an Angel.
He's not. That's Doyle. They turned the Whistler character into Doyle.
You keep teasing me with this Whistler motherfucker, but I didn't see shit.
Not only that, man. When you see the guy that plays Whistler, you're going to be like, that guy was in a million movies. That guy's like Clint Howard.
All right. Well,
yeah, he's somebody's brother.
We'll see.
Yeah.
What you got for me?
I want to get into the bed and stay warm with you.
No, I don't like that.
Would you like to get under the covers just to stay warm?
There we go.
Then have a fish rape you. And we are the All Things Buffy podcast. No, I'm just going to cut that out. That was half hard most of the episode.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.